1. It is here right at 9:10 a.m. here on Wednesday, October 8th. It appears we do have a quorum, so I do hereby call this ad hoc committee meeting of the Industrial Development Board to order. Moving on to item number 2, public comment period. The Industrial Development Board holds a designated public comment period at each meeting. Members of the public in attendance may provide comments to the board or its committees during such designated time. Members of the public are allotted 2 minutes for public comment. No advance registration is required. Is there anyone here from the public wishing to speak today? All right, seeing as how there is no one here from the public wishing to speak today, we will move and close the public comment period. Moving on to item number 3, approval of prior ad hoc meeting minutes. Those were included in the packet. This is from last month's meeting. The majority of the conversation was around Denver, and I will put something together. I mean, you have a lot of the key points here, but I'll finish putting something together and bring it to you all at a future meeting just so you can have it for your records. But great discussion about what they're doing and some of the goals that they have. And then we had a good discussion on zoning as well, just here in Nashville. So thank you. I thought it was a really great discussion. From while you are taking a look at the minutes, 2 things that I didn't share that I went back and researched with Denver, just since we talked about Denver last time. One, late last year, Denver tried, and it was unsuccessful, but they tried to pass a sales tax referendum, essentially a sales tax increase, so that funds would go diverted to affordable housing. So just something I thought was interesting. It was pretty close, but I think it was like 49%, and they needed a little more. So it was fairly close, but it was to dedicate funding to that. The other thing that I didn't share is we talked about the 2021 plan that they came up with. That's their 5-year plan. And to continue to try to meet that for this year. So I want to see next year where their goals were for this year, what they met, but to meet some of the goals that I shared with you all for 2025 for this year as part of their plan, their strategic plan from 2021, they're allocating $229 million this year. So I didn't share that. I just did some additional research. So that's a lot of money.
Was that money from a GO bond issuance?
I do not think that was a GO bond issuance. I know that some of that was and I'll go back and look at that, so I'll include that in my notes, but some of that was just in their budget.
Wow.
Yeah. And I might have let me see if I have this pulled up. Well, you all take a look at the minutes, and I'll see if I can pull this up real quick. Yeah. If I still have this, because I had it broken down. Let me see here.
I mean, even if that was their budget, that's huge.
You're kidding.
Compared to $16 million we gave Barnes.
Yeah, I know. It's incredibly compared.
Yeah, it's just. Let me see if I can. If I can, I'll find it. Okay. I was looking at it early. That part I was looking at this morning, but they broke it down. So some of the allocation, because their goals are it's the same conversation we have here, right? So, you have to create new housing, right? Mm-hmm. But then you also have to preserve housing. And then I talked a little bit about this last meeting, but also they're focused on homelessness as well. Mm-hmm. So their allocation, they have it in, overall it's $229 million, but it's like broken down into different buckets to achieve all those goals. And so it was really eye-opening for me. I just thought about, man, it's a lot of money, but again, it takes that kind of approach. You have to have, I guess, what I'm looking at, a holistic approach, right? Because we create new units, but then people are still displaced. So that's why their approach is trying to keep people in homes, trying to keep reduce evictions. Right. Also, the homeless thing that we talked about, like bringing people in, so they want to get people into permanent housing, right?
Correct.
and then obviously still creating new homes. And then I'll put this in the notes too. One other thing that they did as well, that I went back and reviewed again, is they're doing similar to which we're not, this is for another board, but the mixed income pilot deal. They're doing something similar there, which that was just enacted earlier this year, to do it to provide developers with incentives focused on middle income housing, for folks that don't qualify. You know, like they make too much money to.
It's like the 120% AMI.
Yeah, but they don't make enough money. And I think they were saying that, like, to afford rents there, just as like if you're a blue collar worker there, the way the rents are, you need to make $37 an hour.
Kind of like the affordability here, how much you have to make an hour to actually afford a house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Which is going to change a lot.
That's true.
The economy and interest rates and all that.
So that's why they're looking at also, which I'll put some. It'll be interesting to see how that works. But that was something that was passed earlier this year, actually just a couple of months ago, to give incentives, and the developers have to agree to like 30 years at that to get the incentives from the city.
Yeah, that I would like to see how that really turns out, because it's good going in the beginning, like, oh, y'all gonna get this subsidy, you know. They're not thinking about the 30 years really until like year 15, 16. They're still getting this amount of money when they could be getting this amount of money. So that's typically what happens.
Yeah, and the developers are quoted in Denver saying, I mean, we all do real estate, so
right,
we know.
yeah.
But part of it is they were saying that it's without the incentives, basically, for what it costs developers to do, they can't make money.
Okay.
So that's where the incentives are. That's where the Denver's their governor's saying we have to provide these incentives to get the developers to do this, because if not, it just doesn't pencil.
It would be curious to know what that pilot program looks like compared to our existing one. Because I know City of Chattanooga also just recently passed a mixed income pilot program. So.
All right, yeah, I'll do some more research on it. So it's interesting. Well, anyway, with that, you all have gotten a chance to take a look at the minutes.
Yeah, they look good. Yeah.
All right, I'll entertain the motion. All right, thank you, Board Member Haston. All right, properly seconded by Board Member Wright. Thank you. Is there any discussion? All right. Do I need to vote just legal, just since we have three?
No, I'm assuming they're gonna vote in favor.
Oh, so we're good. Okay. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. All right, the chair abstained then. Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you. All right, well, we'll turn it over to Board Member Wright. Thank you for this phenomenal presentation on Austin, and
No problem.
and certainly, feel free to take the time you need, and we can always revisit it. I think that obviously these cities that we pick, we're kind of looking at peer cities that have grown, and Austin's certainly one of those. So
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to get through this, and I'm just gonna go page for page really, and both of you will bring up some good thoughts about actually tracking. So I'm gonna try to make sure that what I have here today is pretty much a base of the information found out, and then track it to see if they had pilot programs and the progress. Because some of this stuff's from 2022, some from 2024. So I'll make sure that I keep tabs on that to see what the changes and the outcomes are. But the first couple of pages is just talking about Imagine Nashville. That's here as in comparison. And in page 3, it just talk about who are the players in that city, or who actually, I guess, bring money to the funding the programs and things they're using, which is Austin Economic Development Corporation, Austin Housing Finance Corporation, City of Austin Economic Development Department, Texas Enterprise Fund, Housing Authority of the City of Austin, and Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. Of course, and this continues on, so I won't list them all. But it talks about the philanthropy, public and private investment. Austin has Habitat for Humanity, Rebuilding Together, just like we do here.
Sure.
The Urban League, and on their affordable housing bond, they have on their GEO bond in 2022, they did $350 million. Wow. So when I saw these numbers,
did you say?
$350 million.
In one single issuance.
One single issuance. I think that's, I'll talk about a little bit on the next page. In 2022, let's see, in 2018 they did 250 million. So in 4 years, they actually added additional $100 million to their GO bond. And let's see, as of late 22, about 34 million remain unspent with plans for additional rental and acquisition funding. So they got through 300 and, if I can do my math real quick, 316 million of it, and only had $34 million left. So I will of that. So they really spend their money in that city. So, and I don't think we had a problem here because the Barnes funds are what we had. We pretty much, I think it was 60-something million in requests, and actually 30 million was actually for this last round. Is that correct?
It's I think it was 70 and 35.
70 and 35.
So 70 was requested, 35 allocated.
Right. So we definitely have the need, so we can actually boost up what we have.
Do you know, or and maybe it's in the other pages, and
No problem. I want to write it down.
oh, never mind. You've got it on the next page.
Okay.
We're good.
Actually, I found some information that you mentioned last meeting, so thanks for that. Property tax, they did 154,000 in property tax exemption and relief for seniors and disabled homeowners, which we have a program here for. If you reach a certain age, you get your property exempt or stabilized. It doesn't go. I don't think we have a total exemption, correct?
I don't think so. I think Amazon gave some money to the housing fund.
That's right. Yeah, we sure did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Housing fund got money, so I'm not sure. You know what? Let me check on that and see how much the housing fund actually, in comparison to what they have here. They are big on eviction prevention programs.
That came up with that's
yeah, that's saying when we talked about Denver, I was like, wow, they put $2 million into theirs. So that's part of the puzzle. If you're going to, that's one way to retain affordable housing, but not having individuals lose their houses for taxes. Because we know what happens when taxes, eviction from programs and stuff like that. Those houses usually, when they resell again, they don't become affordable.
Yeah.
So that's a really good program that they have in Austin. Moving to the next page. Let's see. It's more about the affordable housing bond. Just more recap on that. It was passed in November the 8th. See the amount, $350 million. And it was for land acquisition for affordable housing, construction and preservation, home ownership program, housing repairs, funding support housing, and housing for vulnerable populations. So it's real similar to the Barnes funds here.
If you said Proposition 8, does this mean that it was a voter referendum?
I can check. I'll check and see if it was a referendum.
I know that would be interesting to figure out, because I know there's certain things in Tennessee's state constitution that would prevent something
like this from
unless there was a referendum. So I'd be curious to know, because I think Denver's was a referendum, even the one that failed.
You're talking about the sales tax?
Both the sales tax and as well as previous bond GO bond issuances.
Yep.
Okay. I will definitely look into that and see how that was passed. Okay.
Because I would imagine, $350 million in 1 year is a big hit to a budget.
Yeah.
So my guess is there was probably some referendum, but
It must have. I'm gonna try to do some more. Like I say, 2018 it was in 2018 it was 250 million.
oh my gosh. Yeah.
So yeah. So like I said, they jumped up in 4 years another 100 million in the GO bonds. So I don't know if they're doing it every 4 years, or I guess what it seems like, they're allocating money and taking 4 years to spend it and doing it every 4 years. That's what I'm thinking, because I didn't find any information beyond 2022, and it's 2025. So I'm thinking in 2026 we're going to see another report of how much they actually issued, or if it increased, or did they spend all the rest of the 34 million that was remaining.
And may I chime in?
Sure, go ahead.
Because I just pulled this up.
Oh, good.
since we're talking about funding and sources. So that 229 number, so I'm gonna pull this, I knew I had it. So the
2019? You said 2029.
229 million.
Oh, 229 million,
Yeah,
okay.
for their, this is the projected expenditures for Denver.
Of Denver.
Since you were talking about fund, I just wanted to
Yeah,
share this real
sure.
quickly. So the majority of these funds come from the city's general fund. And so here's the,
Okay.
here's the breakdown. So they have the host, that's 71 million, that's their budget. 60 million basically from the Affordable Housing Fund. Then 51 million for the Homeless Resolution Fund. 10 million in federal funds. Then they've got some other funding, about 15 million, and they still have 20 million in COVID response and recovery funds.
Yep.
But you take that out, the majority is their general fund, so.
Can we go through it one more time, because I was
Sure,
writing
sure,
it down.
sure. And I can-
71 was the host, and affordable housing was?
Yeah, so the host fund is, and I'm giving you guys rough numbers.
Oh, okay.
But it's,
That's good
say
enough, yeah.
72 million
Okay.
for host. Affordable housing is 60 million.
Okay.
Homelessness Resolution Fund is 51 million. And then other funds, I'm sorry, federal funds, 11 million.
Okay.
Then other funds, it looks like 15, just says other funds, and then 20 million in COVID response funding.
Which makes me think, a lot of our funding, like, was the year before, was federal funding. I'm trying to think.
And host is their Department of Housing Stability.
Housing, okay. Trying to remember what those funds were mixed with to get us, because we had like 70 million last year in the Barnes Fund, previous year.
I think the bulk of that was ARPA money.
Yeah, ARPA money, right. So that's what it's explained. We just had a meeting with Barnes with a new round yesterday. So, yeah, most of that money is, of course, all spent up. So I'm wondering how much of this money.
Can I read something else real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead.
Sorry.
Hey, that's, we
I'll
have a
just
conversation.
on it
That's
because
good.
now
Yeah, have a conversation
I'm
about
looking at it. So the general fund, so host, which is their housing stability. I won't get you all this, but I'll get this included and get this out to you all. So out of that, so the host, that's the stability, housing stability, 71 million. The affordable housing fund, that 59 million. Here's the breakdown on how that's
Oh, okay.
funded, just to give you an idea. So 10 million property tax. And then the other big two are general fund transfer, recreational marijuana use tax, and then linkage fee projected revenue. So some of these, so I won't go into all of these, I'll get this to you, but again, the majority of this is general fund. There's a couple grants in here that they've gotten, but you see the allocation for the big items. So again, most of that is their general fund. So, and out of that, 39% of, they estimate 39% will go toward shelter and stability, 27% will go toward housing opportunity, and 27% will support 4% will support operations. So, and then they've got a percentage going to homelessness resolution as well, which, again, you talked about preventing evictions, that goes hand in hand. So, anyway, I'll turn it back over to you, but since I found it, I thought that
no
made
problem.
sense.
Did you mention, because this is all out of their general fund?
The most of this is from their general fund, aside from, they had about 20 million in COVID response funding,
Okay.
and then about 10 million in federal funds.
Okay.
So yes, and there's a couple grants in here, but the vast majority is
out of there.
Yeah.
their
Coffers.
2025 general fund.
Yeah,
Wow,
it
okay.
would be interesting 'cause, to think about like, if we do an apples to apples comparison,
Mm-hmm.
like how does their population compare to us?
Yeah.
How much of their budget is going towards housing specifically, not just affordable housing, but housing? And then also just comparing where that money is coming from. So like, we don't have a marijuana tax, so obviously we can't depend on something.
Can't check that box.
So thinking about where's there like that we can compare to, that we can also then say, well, maybe we can copy and paste.
Well, I'm thinking the goal is, once we go through all of these, is to create a chart, just like board member Hastings said, and just have them all listed and create check boxes where the funding comes from and how much it is, and then to compare it to what we're doing and see where we can add, if we can do different things.
Yep.
To compare to those cities.
You're taking over the chart, leader of the chart, correct?
No. I say keywords we.
We will. But I tell you, I got an idea. If you take the lead on the chart, have an idea on how we can work through the chart.
Man, I tell you, I always corner
But
myself.
just think
in
about
something.
it. Don't
Okay,
feel
yeah,
pressure.
I will. No, yeah,
Don't
it's
feel
already pressure. No, I was kidding. But no, that would be a good idea to be. I mean, that's the ending goal, to be able to compare all the cities and then view them at one time and say, okay, how do we rank and what can we do at that point? So far, it looks like Austin might be in the lead as far as money obligation. So, not sure. I mean, your city was Charlotte.
They're pretty close.
Pretty close? Okay. I was thinking about their numbers. Okay, oh, well, where was I? Oh,
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. Okay, so I talked about the bonds. Let's see. And just a little more breakdown of the property tax exemption and relief for seniors.
You're on that. Who are the players continued, right? Sheet.
No, I'm past.
Oh, you're past that.
Oh, you know what? Mine is different from you guys.
Oh, okay.
Y'all's are those sided.
You have the master.
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
sorry.
trying not to burn too many trees. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
Okay. So I think about it. Okay, so back to the property tax exemption.
Oh, okay. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
I should have numbered these by page. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. As of May 2025, the city approved a 154,000 homestead exemption qualified to home ownership, and I'll get some comparables from the housing fund. Let's see. Tax bill. They lowered the tax bills. Exemption is applied after the city's standard 20% general homestead exemption. So they get an exemption first from homestead, and then they get to apply. Well, let me read that again. 'Cause I think that money is part of the 20%. Taxable value of the property. Okay, no, it's applied after that. So it just lowers their tax bill. And you have to be 65 years or older.
To qualify.
So there's
for
not
the
an
program.
income set aside, it's just freezing
It-
if you're age or if you're disabled?
For what I read, it just freezes and lowers their tax bill. So I don't know if there's any money. Unlike the housing fund, it actually issues it to the homeowner to pay. I think it issues it to the homeowner to pay their tax bill, or they may pay it for them.
I don't
So
know.
I'll check into that, how the housing fund allocates their money. But I'll do a little digging on this to see exactly how that $154,000 is allocated.
Because I think the one that Representative Love helped pass a few years ago, I think that was tied to both age and income.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be curious to know
Yeah.
if the income is a consideration.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was income based. I know it's age, but I'll check on income. Which would make sense, yeah. And if there's a limit. Okay. Alrighty. A little more information on the eviction prevention program, which is I Belong in Austin. So this program is a rental assistance initiative aimed at preventing eviction and homelessness among low-income renters in Austin, administered by I'm going to skip that because I'm going to mess that up, that name. The program provides financial support to households facing housing instability. So it provides assistance by paying the past due rent, moving expenses, storage fees, relocation costs. Now this one is tied to your income, so you have to be 80% of area median income in order to family income, area median family income in order to qualify. So there's that $2 million is set aside just for that program. So that's pretty cool right there. That is pretty cool.
That is really neat. I'm curious on that one if it's like a one-time thing, or can folks tap into it repeatedly, or like how do you disincentivize people from taking advantage of that program?
Right. Also, I want to find out how is it funded.
Yeah.
Is it a reoccurring? Does it have a reoccurring source of revenue going to the program, or like you mentioned, or is it just a one-time hit? Because it didn't have a date on the program.
I know City of Chattanooga is talking about a similar initiative.
Okay.
Because I think they took some of their COVID dollars and set up a similar program, but I think they've had some issues, so I think they're going to tweak it.
Tweak it a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I can see how this could be abused somewhat. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll find out if they actually have spent all the money.
Yeah. Or if it's, I mean, sometimes, I know like in some markets, we hear about like deposits being an issue, the first month, last month.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wonder in some ways if you can help cover that cost, so if the tenant moves at the end of their stay, the city gets their money back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like a recurring, instead of just lost, the city gets it back, that they can redeploy it.
Yeah, this was kind of, I was thinking about the
Moving is
disaster recovery grant we had, DDR and DDRF here. It actually paid for relocation costs and moving expenses if you were doing repairs to the property. So I don't know if some of this was funded through a federal grant. I'm going to check on that.
Okay.
Because now the past due rents, that's not part of the direct recovery fund. Disaster recovery fund, just say.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me check on that. Okay.
And I think some local nonprofits are already doing some of these things to an extent. Like I think the Community Foundation has several donor-advised funds that help with a couple of these things. And gosh, what is it? All Under One Roof, maybe. I think they do a past due rent program.
Yeah, there's several agencies that actually will help with utilities. I'm trying, not Catholic Charities. I'm trying to think of an organization that will pay your rent deposits. Because our organization, we go to them sometimes, and when tenants, they have the money to move in, but they don't have the security deposit, they will pay for that. But I don't know of any that will pay for their moving expenses unless it's under a federal grant, like the Declared Disaster Recovery Fund. Then it will get paid. But that's if you're actually doing work to the unit and bringing the tenant back to the unit again.
The relocation.
Yeah, and all that money's gone anyway. So I want to check. I want to do some deep dive to see if some of these programs are not tied to their ARPA funding and declared disaster DDRF funding as well, because that might explain why there's no really dates on these particular programs. Okay, so get me some homework now. That's good. That's good. Like I said, this is a base, and I want to be able to dig and go further and find more information. Any more questions on that page?
No, thank you.
Oh, no problem. Moving to the page you want to see, Board Member Hastings. Infrastructure and density. It's called the DB90 program. It was adopted in 2024 in February, revised in 2024 for flexibility and community concerns. It allows buildings up to 90 feet on qualifying commercial zone properties if affordable housing is included. It encourages mixed-use development in urban density. The requirements is 10 to 12% of the units are at 50 to 60% I guess, AMI. Got MFI on here, which I think is the same as, get some clarity on what that is. It's medium family income, yeah. And then if it's ownership, home ownership, 12% of units must be at 80% of MFI or in fee in lieu option. So I guess in lieu of paying taxes. Pilot program, I'm assuming. Okay. So far, 29 projects have been approved, covering 125 acres. Let's see. So that's on the actual housing part. I'm trying to think
It's
of.
awesome that their program also includes ownership. I know.
Yeah, ours is only rental.
Correct.
Yes.
I mean, not because the city, but the state preempts it currently to go towards home ownership. So
So they must be working pretty good with their state with the. Okay.
that's awesome.
I'm checking to see how they were able to bring the home ownership piece into there, which is good. They also did on transportation. Let's see, they did expansion, I-35, Capital Express projects. They added HOV lanes, pedestrian bike paths. We do the same thing here. They have something called a cap and stitch green spaces to reconnect neighborhoods. It's pretty good, bringing green space back to the neighborhood. A 9.8 mile light rail and expanded bus rapid transit system, the BRT. 24 new park and ride facilities to improve access, and 7.1 billion in funding. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think that's part of the resources they had. 7.1 billion funding federal and local sources. So I'll break that down. You know, how much was from federal and how much was from, if y'all have an interest.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was,
Yeah.
they had multiple, similar to us, I think they had multiple failed
Yeah.
transit referendums before
Yeah.
the big boy finally passed.
Yeah, they finally got it. Okay, now I have a little research on the key differences in Austin zoning. I'll just read them. They combine their district, their overlays. Austin frequently uses overlay districts, e.g. NP for neighborhood plan, MU for mixed use, H for historic. They modify base zone regulations. Many cities rely mainly on base zoning with fewer overlays, but I think we've made a lot of strides in that direction with the overlays we have, especially in North Nashville, Germantown area. And what's the area that just passed an overlay? We discussed some
Nations.
Nations, yeah. So we're making progress in that way.
And, you know, we don't need to have a political discussion.
Oh, well, you started now, so go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I just thought about something I read this morning.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at Denver, just looking at it again,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things that, like, some of their leaders have said is that there's still this disconnect where if you talk to you know, most people,
Mm-hmm.
right? They feel bad that people can't find. I think most people are generally good people. They feel bad that they see how much it costs for people to rent in
Mm-hmm.
Nashville. They see how much money people are spending, right, out of their income. So you're spending so much money on rent that you're struggling to put food on the table. I think most people genuinely care and feel
Correct.
bad.
Yeah.
And they see the problem, but they don't agree on is the solution,
Mm-hmm.
which is the challenge with all these housing. And so one of the articles I read about Denver was saying that, you know, they're still getting pushback on the zoning. People feel bad, but there's a disconnect because they don't necessarily want the zoning. And there's been a lot of pushback. Again, people feel how they want to feel, that's fine, but there's been some pushback as well in the nations regarding that upzoning. Now, I'm not saying yay or nay one way or another. I'm just saying that that's a great example of the challenge, right? Because part of the things that we've discussed is I mean, my favorite class growing in school was economics. It's supply and demand, right?
Correct.
So you know what I mean?
You tiptoeing, yeah.
I know.
You go ahead and say it.
But then and I get it, right?
Right.
Because some of the projects that this board has supported, affordable housing projects specifically, you know, like we have a project today, you know, we've also been supported because it kind of goes hand in hand with transit as well. Like these areas, urban, create more density, maximize the value of the lot, get more people on there. There's transit, right? So then you've got the transportation piece, so people have the transportation to go to and from work. But so it makes sense for all those reasons, but there's still a lot of pushback on zoning, and I should stop right there.
Coming from a nonprofit side, a developer side, you know, I'm always pushing for more density and where we can put it in and fit it in. But understanding the neighbors, I think a lot of it comes from not having the information or looking.
Which that was going to be my next question
Right,
to you.
it's character. How's it going to change the character of our neighborhood? I deal with a lot of property in East Nashville. Sometimes I deal with property in East Nashville, and there's a lot of old trees. And the concern is, if you come in, you change the zoning, you up the zoning, and now we've got development where there used to be one house, there's 4 houses. All the trees are being cut down. So I think the neighbors are like, we're not against density, but we don't have a clear plan. And what we've seen in the city thus far, once it starts in one pocket, it just spreads. And now you have an entire neighborhood of, I wouldn't say no trees, but it's definitely, the character has changed from what it used to be. And I think they fear that. So I don't think it's not so much NIMBYism. You know, I don't want it in my backyard, but it's like, okay, give me a better plan of how's this going to affect the entire area, the character of the neighborhood when this zoning comes about. Now, I don't know how to articulate it. You can do so many plans, but, you know.
And only bring that up.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to cite right for wrong for, but I was just
No, that's just what I experienced.
because
Yeah.
there's some residents that, and it's public, there's some residents that have called for a recall of the current council member over there
Yeah.
because of
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
there's residents not happy about the zoning. So
Correct.
Again, I overall just speaks to the challenges that you have, because if you look at it from us purely, get rid of the other stuff and you just look at one thing, increase supply. That's how you do it.
Right.
So, anyway.
But I think, as time goes on.
But I hear your
think,
point.
Yeah.
But then that comes back to, how do you do that? How do you I guess educate people, get them more comfortable? And I'll just use the nation as an example. I mean, I've read articles, there's been tons of meetings, about it, and then you still have, and some people just have their opinion, that's fine. They want their neighborhood to stay what it was when they bought. So anyway,
some of the things we've done is we come in with, you have to get a forestry plan on a lot of these developments.
Sure.
You know, what you're going to put back, and actually putting back trees, getting the neighbors to understand, okay, this was a tree that's 200 years old, that got a root system that's going through the property, it has to go. To understand that, hey, we're going to plant a better tree here that it won't take 200 years to grow again. So I think I've really seen a lot with the trees for some reason. It's a big thing with trees.
I got one question. I won't go into detail on this. So you don't just tell me yes or no if you remember this. So this was not I'm not going to say what area of town it was, but there was.
Oh, it's going to be really.
There was a project. It was not affordable housing.
Okay.
But it speaks to increasing density, like adding density. There was a project probably about a year and a half ago. Do you know what I'm talking? There was a council meeting and some people. It was public comment period. Some people spoke, and there was some.
Probably, but I mean,
so many projects.
All right, we'll talk about that later. Well, I won't get into that today.
No problem.
But the reason it brings me up, because it comes back to, you got to work around that, because there's going to be a certain faction of people that maybe you could certainly do a better job. When I say you, people in the industry that are pushing for it, to try to educate people to get to get them comfortable and make sure all their questions are answered, to make sure they understand what's really going on, right? So that's absolutely, but there's also probably going to be a certain faction of people that I bought my house here. I want to be like this forever. I don't, I feel bad, but
Right.
I don't know. It's look, if it was an easy fix, it'd be.
Oh, if it was easy to fix, it'd be done.
So
I guess I want to hear, or I want to repeat what I thought I heard you say, and maybe summarize. It sounds like, from your perspective, a lot of the folks maybe don't, or they say they're against something, but maybe if it were communicated differently, they might be supportive of it.
Right, and I think what I've heard in the past too is sometimes, we're all familiar with SP, special plans, specific plans. A lot of times they change hands, they get sold, and sometimes the development doesn't come out as they thought it would from the renderings that they have. So I think some in the past have been burnt, so to speak, on developments, and don't understand that the process now is, with these special plans or rezoning, they're real strict. When they put down what you're going to do and it goes through council and it's approved, they cannot veer from that. And I think that's where the educational piece comes in. People don't understand. No, they cannot veer at all. So whatever happened in the past is the past, but this is different now.
Yeah, and I think to that point, that is missing from the communication.
Right.
And secondly, I think some folks have in their minds, they've just burned into this image, a duplex is a duplex is a duplex. And
Correct.
in their mind, it's something that's a 1970s side-by-side brick duplex with a flat pitched roof and 2 doors, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath on each side, and that's what they visualize.
Right.
When in reality, the bulk of the most cherished neighborhoods in Nashville, Lockland Springs being one of them, have historically always allowed duplexes.
Right.
And they just blended right in.
Lockland Springs is one of Nashville's most cherished neighborhoods.
I believe so.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, or if you walk around parts of Belmont Hillsboro,
Yeah, I mean, it is nice.
lots of those areas.
No, they're beautiful.
Yeah, that's a really
and
nice area.
They allowed
With
duplexes.
sidewalks,
By,
too.
yeah. Same thing with Germantown. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of those neighborhoods allowed this sort of density and sorts of housing that we're now trying to bring back by right for years.
And I think like in the Germantown area, it's welcome because it's a downtown neighborhood. So you expect it to have high density. I think people actually like the high density because, I live in the area, so we interact with our neighbors. We see them, they're waving, we're going to different things. So it's not like a PUD, planned development or anything like that in a community. So where you got 200 houses and all of a sudden now you're putting a duplex or a triplex.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
to that point, it's like, and to an earlier comment that you were making about folks have to make money
Right.
when doing these things. I think there are ways that we can communicate to both neighborhoods as well as the development community of how we can make money and do right by the community, whether that's having plans
Right.
that are pre-approved by the neighborhood, essentially, of what a duplex could look like.
Right.
And it's going to blend right in and looks beautiful. And guess what? That developer is going to take that plan and do it because they know they can do it faster and cheaper. In the sense that they're not having to buy plans from XYZ architect.
Right.
They're able to get them pre-approved from the city. Cheaper, permitted faster. It's not however many months waiting for a permit.
That's the issue too, yeah. You start development, you're sitting there looking at an empty lot or half-dug lot for months and months and months, So, yeah.
So I
education's the
think
key.
there's ways
Yeah.
that you can communicate that to both folks to
Right.
have, I'm thinking of a Venn diagram, where you get the best result for the community.
And yeah, I would say reach out to them before it happens. I think a lot of times it's reactive.
For sure.
Here comes a developer with an SP that's trying to do something a lot, comes to a neighborhood, all the neighbors come out immediately. But there hasn't been a meeting before that where there wasn't a project just to say, hey, Nashville Next, when we did the neighborhood models. When was the last time we actually updated that plan? That's been, what, a decade ago or more?
Yeah.
See, if we actually brought that back and updated, that got the neighborhood, the people together, to actually see what they wanted in their neighborhood and have a voice in it. That would probably curtail some of this anxiety about developers coming to the neighborhood, because then they will understand what they want for their neighborhood, what type of developments, and how it would look. So that might be something we might need to bring back again. I don't know, but I think it might help.
Yeah, great points, and it may be something to look at. And I can go back for the cities we're looking at, is to kind of go back and look at, see what kind of call it public relations
Right. Yeah.
campaign that these cities are doing, to not only from maybe a developer standpoint, but the leadership overall. So I'll go back and look at that in mind, and I would say ask if you can
I
do
do
that
same
as well.
here.
That would be
Yeah.
great, just to see what around that topic. So okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to finish this page?
Oh yeah,
so
actually,
we
I
can-
only have one more bullet point, and that's it.
On this
Everything
page?
else is just
Okay.
just links for
And
you to
then
go and
I
check
don't
the
want to get into
sources.
the other one, so we can.
Oh yeah, my other pages are just
back.
sources for you to go and click the
Okay.
links.
I do want you to talk to us through it though.
You talking about the sources?
No.
Oh.
What, are you on the infrastructure page?
No.
Yeah, I'm on the very last bullet of the key differences in Austin's
Oh,
zoning.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah, we already
Okay.
went through the infrastructure.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. So they focus on missing middle, and I think that's something we've been talking
Denver,
about. Denver's
we've
the
talked
exact
about,
same
yeah.
thing. With their RM1 through RM5
Duplexes,
triplexes,
fourplexes.
fourplexes, to address affordability. So they're in line with what we're trying to do as well. They're probably just further along with it. So we're more in the negotiating, talking stage, trying to get everything, approved to council, that sort of thing. So I really just think these cities have already had a lot of things in progress, especially with the public relations, dealing with the citizens, making sure everybody's on board before it goes through council, whatnot. We're at that stage now. So we're just experiencing growing pains. I think that's where it is. So, we can use Austin, Denver, all the cities as models, because it seems like they're a little bit ahead of us. And just figure out what they did, and like you mentioned, their public relations, to get past those barriers to where they are now. Because I would love to get to $350 million.
Yeah.
That'd be a game changer.
For
I'll
sure.
take $200 million. I'm not greedy.
For sure.
Something.
No, this is great. Really enjoy. Always really great
And
discussion.
I appreciate you guys allowing me to fumble through this. I'm
No,
horrible
you
when it
did.
comes to reading things.
No, that was my fault too, because
I don't like reading. I like just to talk about it. I'm like, look, if I don't read it verbatim, I will miss something.
I think you did a phenomenal job. I mean, we've been waiting on you to go for
I know. Yeah, you're right. I should have been better at about what.
No,
6
you did a
months.
great job.
I-
This
I-
is great research.
I guess one thing, if you're looking at it again, I
Sure.
would be curious to see how they're using government land
Oh, okay.
in Austin. I mean, I've heard tell of maybe some school land that they've
Okay.
used,
Okay.
and we know
Like a vacant, like a school that's
vacant land or surplus land around it.
Yeah, surplus. Yeah.
that's a good one to look at on all of them. All right. Well, as always, great discussion, team. We'll
What's an hour? Okay.
with there being no further business here, we will adjourn here the ad hoc meeting of the Industrial Development Board. I want to thank Metro Legal, thank the Metro ECD team, Metro Finance. Most of all, I want to thank you, my fellow board members, for coming today. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And again, it is here right at 9:59, so we will adjourn this ad hoc committee meeting of the Industrial Development Board. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Awesome.